Well, tonight's plan was to run a punishment game, but thanks to Gabrielle in the chat and Adriharu, I was spurred on to play some Draken as the punishment. You see, these punishment games, I've endured well over 100 of them by now. Is it that many? Christ, I think it is. And it's been a lot of me getting punished. I think it's high time we turn the tables and have you folks enjoy the punishment whilst I just enjoy the glory that is Draken for the Super Nintendo. So let's get going with it. I really like this game even though it's terrible. And it starts off on a high note, this really funky character creation screen. I think this is what really got me falling in love with it. So let's just get rolling. I know how this game goes. It shouldn't take more than an hour and a half to beat, really. We'll start off with our fighter. Who's it going to be? I'm just going to pick people whose names I see in chat, and I think we're going to roll with Pepper. Not enough for the full Pepper ad, but Pepper will do. Those are some strong-ish rolls, but those are awful. And these are even worse, but we'll go with it. 13, 13, 13. Oh no. 13, 13. Gotta get that physique high. Great power. Crappy knowledge. Good enough. Who's gonna be next up? Well, we'll have a bit of a gender bender, or a gender wormer. Let's have you in here as the priestess you were born to be. There we go. Oh, some strong rolls if you don't mind being a weakling, and I don't think you mind being a weakling. There we go. Who else is gonna be up? Scottish Lord says me! Well, we'll have you in as a magician. I love this game, even though it's so awful. There we go, one Scot Lord, and good lord, those are not very good. Those are pretty well spread, actually. Good intelligence, good knowledge, pretty crappy physique, good agility, not so good power. Finally, who's gonna be up? Looking for people in chat. Dennis Wolf says scouts are surely close enough to bandits for you, right? Yeah, we'll have the scout for you, Dennis. And all right rolls, but I'm a chancer. Ooh, not too shabby at all. Good agility, good power, and the rest can be just fairly okay. Let's get going. So we have our party, we have the story, humans destroyed the everything, and we gotta go and fix the everything. This was something else back in the day. Let's get inside the... or let's accidentally recall our team. Come on, Wormess, and get inside that castle. We've stepped inside the castle of Earth Prince Hordgen. Let's deactivate these. It was a 1 in 4 chance, and I got it right. We'll, you know what, we'll have our weak-ass worm priestess taking front and center here, get you bucklered up, and on you go. I was really struck by how different the SNES and PC Amiga versions were for Draken. Kind of awe-inspiring, the level of difference between them. Let's get you handling that massive rod worm. I know you wouldn't have it any other way. We have some swords on the wall, but I suppose our fighters would do well to grab some better artillery. I mean, what was there not to love about this game as a kid? I mean, I couldn't understand what was going on, but I was... when did this game come out? I was pretty young when it came out, so it's not like I was going to understand what was going on anyway. So the dog dirt plot wasn't much of a detractor. Let's head on up and at 'em. We're forbidden to be on this floor. You're forbidden from life, crunch. Hey chat, is Draken punishment? I don't understand. Jake spoke highly of it, if I recall correctly. I do speak highly of this game. So all these grimy little draken creatures, down they go. Bash him with the rod, even though Worm is our weakest character. Actually, Worm's about to die. But he came out on top. The damage generation in this game is just off the walls. Alright, say hello to Castle Keeper Hordgen. Welcome humans, I'm lord of this castle. Help my sister Hordga over in the opposite side of the place. Great. And unlike the PC version, we won't accidentally antagonize you and get squashed to death. At least one can hope. Worm is pretty fragile and a terrible fighter, but we're maining Worm anyway, so you've been picking up a lot of daggers. Let's just drop them because they are pretty useless. They are the weakest weapon you can possibly have, short of your bare fists. Couldn't understand these words as a kid. Greaves and curious. I still don't understand it. Curious. I don't get it at all. Anyway, Pepper, you can be the prepper and get that on. And then that means that jacket you have can go to Worm, all in the interest of maxing out our defense. Great, there's a lot more we can do in this castle, but let's just kill and keep moving. Curious, if that's how it's said. Right, we need to head on east to figure out what's going on with that castle. However, never do anything right. Let's head west instead. It's an Indian weapon. It's male for you, but sure. A weapon. Worm's buckler just got ravaged by this tiny little snake, but that's okay, it exploded nonetheless. I think summer was the last time we saw Draken. It's been far too long, says Marsh Tickle. Hey, it's an old guy. Don't go to the inn, they serve lousy drinks, and oh, he's drunk. That breaches Nintendo's guidelines for games, so shame on you, Infogames? I forget who made this, but I think it was them. Okay, significantly larger snake, hopefully it doesn't eat Worm. It ate Worm. Alright, well, go and avenge Worm, Pepper. There we go. Unfortunately, Worm took his good greaves with him. Let's go and mourn his loss at the inn. Ah, what a friendly place. I don't know why it says the Wandering Merchant approached. I guess I didn't have time to localize proper text for the inn. We can get leather, helmets, shoes, bucklers, but it's all quite pricey given our pretty low amount of money at this point. So we'll sell our dagger for a bit of dosh. And actually we have very little else to sell, especially since, yeah, that's right, Worm is dead. I can't believe they killed Worm. Well, fair enough. It's the circle of life, says Marsh Tickle. Yeah, sadly we're playing with advanced Pokemon rules, which means Worm will never come back to life. It's okay, it's not like the priestess is vital to the run. I think the magician isn't strictly vital either, but it takes a lot of grinding to get unlock spell in the on the scout, as I recall. And Dennis, you're taking some pretty hefty damage there. I was old anyway, me dying was to be expected. I don't know why people call this mud, it's obviously a pack of mice. Pepper saying I'm currently rooting for another snake to eat us all. Now sadly we can get powerful enough such that nothing can even hope to defeat us. You grind enough in this game and you will become so powerful you can kill everything naked. And they won't even have a chance to hurt you. Oh well, water can always kill you. Water is the deadliest thing in this game. So is the encounter rate. You can get an encounter 1 frame after the previous encounter. Congrats, Pepper, you've leveled up. I'll never forget the joy that I felt as a child when you level up enough to have triple-digit health. And that's not exclusive to Draken. I felt it in games like Secret of Mana, Secret of Evermore, Terranigma, Pokemon, anything that had a leveling system that would improve your health. You're not looking so good there, Dennis. Better hold it together. I feel a bit lost here. Where am I? Well, I should certainly not be heading north. Just bump into a tree a couple of times. Slaughter another pack of mice. Ah, this is the road we want. Never really quite understood what they were going for with the world map. I mean, to a degree it's lovingly crafted, but to another more accurate degree it's I'm lost again, haven't I? I probably definitely want to head a bit more north. Tonk. Will you enjoy the sequel when it gets rolled? Somewhat praying to God that it does not. I'm looking for something, but I can't seem to find it. It's the warp spot. Maybe it's a bit over to the east from here. I might know this game inside out, but that doesn't mean I magically get good at orienteering, something I have always been terrible at. But that's okay. It's important to accept yourself. There we go. See? And what I accept is my luck stat, which sometimes brings it all together for me. So we take the trippiest teleportation in any game ever made. It'll bring us to the other side of the map. I hear there's a big treasure in the center of the lake. No, childhood Jake tried to debunk that one. I went so far out into the water, thinking, you know, what if? What if there's land out there? There was not, but it was a level of mystery that sadly died in the modern day. Our ability to just find out any information within seconds has really killed the art of exploration. Oh, this guy could kill us all in one hit. Whew, fortunately, Pepper beat him up and stole his shoes. I think someone insignificant died along the way, but that's okay. Oh, come on, says Pepper. Stop banking on everyone to kill us. Okay, Hordka's castle has been razed to the ground. Princess Hordka was captured, and the humans she was sheltering were captured. I thought we were only humans left on Draken Island here, but apparently not. Alright, we took the teleportation on the way over, but let's take the scenic route back. Giant spider could poison and kill Pepper. Could. Oof, did a lot of damage. Pepper might consider wearing some trousers next time. Why must this game be so realistic? Okay, fortunately, if we travel for about 30 seconds in this direction, we will stumble across the Anak, which will be able to save our lives. Which is good, because we're knocking on heaven's door at this rate. Let's not accidentally walk into the Nintendo-censored gravestones. They used to have crosses on them. You know what? How about Dennis takes front and center on this fight? How about we run away? Okay, I know some of you are scared that the game experience here might end early due to party wipe, but the Anak is just across here. And if we get close enough, it'll stop all encounters from happening. This guy could kill us. Okay, fortunately, he was too scared of Pepper's macho legs. In this game, the constellations in the skies also try to kill you. And these guys can one-shot, so let's just hope they do not. No. Came, took a pot shot, and then God knows what happened. Right, far's that Anak. It's just over here by a wee touch. Eyes peeled, everyone. Where's the Anak? Aha, here we go. Are they perma-dead? Well, fortunately, in the SNES version of Draken, you don't have to pay to heal your people, so let's get them all nice and treated. Thankfully, in the PC version, although the money requirement to resurrect your people, and the very fact that it checked for the dead person's gold and they don't gain gold while dead, really threw a gear in the works, it did give an awesome phrase, which was, "Die and without Jade stay dead." There was a bigger part to it, but I forget. Still, it was awesome. Also, Dennis, you appear to be dying. This is one sturdy lizard man. Well, Worm the Old was able to survive there, but it seems that our Scott Lord has kicked the bucket. And alligators here, also wanting to kill us. Wanting and succeeding, however. Pepper is continuing to kick some arse. And with Old Man Borm by his side, anything can be achieved. I know Borm is a priestess, but we are progressive here on Draken Island. Pepper just desperately wanting to die. Okay, I'm going a pretty wrong way. Let's make a turn here. Now the game lags out pretty hard because we've got these glowing arrows in the middle of the map. Now if you walk into them, they'll push you back. So if you walk backwards into them, they'll push you back still, but back is now forward. If this were the PC version, this guy would come down and immediately kill us, but we're not playing the PC version because it's so bad. Also, remember when I said you can have encounters one frame after the previous encounter? Here we go. They're still telling us where to go to see the pile of rubble. We didn't get a hat trick of them at least. Alright, let's avoid the deadly water and the even more deadly censored crosses on the gravestones. We're nay far from where we need to be, which is right here. Oh yes, only the PC version is bad. What was I thinking? Well, what you're thinking is everyone is dead. Game over. Ah, look, we're back at the start. We get to do it all over again. Well, that's fine by me. Let's get right back to it. But maybe we played really badly, so we need the key explanation to the game. Ah, see, it's all coming together now. What just happened? Well, in a quality game like this, it expects you to get good. And part of getting good is anticipating and dealing with shark attacks in the moat. So let's level up our characters by having them do some swimming. Remember, that was a very important part of Grimoire. Oh, no, okay, everyone's dying. Right, now let's take it seriously. But be sure to give us another explanation. No, let's get on going. I'm gonna take the back route first, though, because I have a cunning plan. It's traditional to go to the castle first, but I have an idea here. Did you find sunken treasure, Jake? Was working on it. Right, Hunchback of Notre Dame here's gotta go. Poor guy. Old man tried to tell us to avoid the lousy inn because he doesn't like their drinks, or maybe their drink prices. Alright, what we should really do is... well, ignore Lizard Man here. So strong. Is, we can raise someone from the dead here by bumping into the grave. And, it's a nice doggy. I would be amazed if we're able to... What?! Okay, that thing's meant to be an instant party wipe, but Pepper killed it because Pepper really wants to live and keep playing. Okay, that's phenomenal. It killed one of us before we even got spawned onto the map. So, okay, I think we've had our fun with this for a wee bit. Now that we have alienated and chased off 98% of potential viewers, let's reward the remaining 2% with what we're actually here for today. It is indeed punishment time, and what we're going to do is the Lucky Bugger Golden Deers punishment game. It is Hadean Lands. I know nothing of this game. I've only got it and fired it up. That's about as far as we know. But from what I can tell, it is a text adventure game. It has no... well, nothing to do but text, so let's give it a go. Jake, bring back Draken, you bastard, says Traffic Cone in a desperate bid, but it's not gonna happen. I think even the Draken music has to die here, and we will dig our teeth into whatever this is. I've got loads of windows open on my screen here. Let's get the timer going just so we're aware of how much of our life we're wasting away with these punishment games. Yeah, you can see it here. We've got the alchemy journal thing, which is this. We've got ourselves a map that we can kind of scroll around on, but for some reason can't zoom in, so that's a bit hard to read. But it does have airlock on it, and I do like airlocks quite a bit. And then we have our texty area thingy. Oh, it's kind of weird the way the mouse goes between them a bit. Kind of. Okay, the fact that there's no background music is immediately worrying me. Requesting Death Road Canada musical accompaniment. That would be an idea, but let's play this instead. Just get a bit of mood setting music in the background. Okay, so let's get to figuring this out. And the moon is of lightly moving, and the moon is planet of way. And for that skill, it giveth us will of kind for to move lightly and for to go divers ways, and seek strange things and other diversities of the world, for the moon environeth the world even more, the earth more hastily than any other planet. Alright, don't understand that, but apparently we've awakened by reading that. Have you played interaction fiction before? Well, I have, but it was easily over 2 decades ago, so let's just say Adult Jake has not. I'll give you some help then, just to get you started. Oh, thank you. You smell copal incense, machine oil, rosemary, alcohol, and blood. Creaking, bending steel beams. No, that's not an odor. Why did you think that bulkheads were crumpling in on you? What would that even smell like? You're pretty sure it's not your own blood, anyway. The secondary alchemy lab is your duty station this shift, where you were before now, before you woke up on the floor, smelling copal oil, rosemary, and, well, alcohol is right. You were scrubbing the one workbench, enjoying your shift, Schwabi. Not anymore, Sarge. The lamps shouldn't be flickering like that, and His Majesty's Marcher, the unanswerable retort, really shouldn't be this quiet. Hadean Lands. Overdue interactive fiction. You play this game by typing commands to look around right now. Type look and hit enter. No, not that one. Okay, let's try this. The lab is unsettlingly dim. We're in the second alchemy lab, which is here. Oh, right. It even... oh, nice pulsating ninja cross to show where we are. That's swell. Can you see that? Can you read that? Does everything look and sound okay? That's normally what I check at the start of these. The lab is unsettlingly dim, but familiar enough. Rough wooden walls, the broad stone surface of the workbench, the lab door to the north. It's closed. To the east is the supply closet, except the entire east side of the room is filled with clear crystal. That's not so familiar. That's downright strange. So over here this is blocked by crystal. You notice a heap of alchemical supplies piled on the table. What is alchemical? Probably alchemy. Next to the table, an iron panel is set in the floor. There's quite a bit here. You can examine these things. Try examine bench. Or we examine crystal. It's not crystal, it's more as if the air has cracked right across the room, leaving a plane of cleavage, which is visible only in refraction. You can't do anything about this refractive blockage right now. The examine command works on nearly everything. Since you'll try to use it often, you can abbreviate. Try X myself. Sounds like a trap, but let's X myself. Not the most promising ensign in His Majesty's Navy. You've learned a bit about yourself, at least. That doesn't seem like a lot, but okay. Can we X the floor? You can't see any such... I can't see the floor. Okay, well, let's have a look at that blood. No? Alright. No, nothing on the walls. Okay, how about the desk then? Jake, I thought the point was looking and sounding bad. Nonsense, we take standards pretty seriously around here. Really? I can't see... Maybe I have to X the desk, or the work desk, or the work bench. There we go. The workbench is a broad slab of bluestone, chipped and scarred. A bound is incised in its surface, the circular arc that contains and constrains works of alchemy. The workbench is bound and empty. You notice a worn steel bolt lying underneath the workbench. So let's have a look at that bolt. Somewhat worn, so can I take the bolt? Okay, so I now have a bolt. Do I have an inventory of any sort? No, I guess I don't. Huh. Well, how about that? There was other stuff I could do, right? Look around, da 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 da. If I do that, it's not going to tell me anything else, will it? No. Okay. How about we leave here for now? You pull the door open, then you nearly fall down, so sharp is your disorientation. Only your grip on the door convinces you that you're still standing upright. A Hadean land lies outside the lab door. I'm sure this wasn't in the regs. The east side corridor is missing, or at least most of it is missing. A foot or so of ordinary tile floor is at your feet, but beyond that, the corridor is cut away as if by a knife. Beyond is a barren grey wasteland, a Hadean land, deadly to any breathing life. Unweathered grey rocks and dead dust rest under bright, unwinking stars. Okay, so I'm not allowed to leave the lab? Is it that bad? Bad times. Well, can I take a nap then? No, we're not tired, but at least it understands that. Door is already open, so can I leave yet? You might be sucked through the door into vacuum, but wouldn't the lab's atmosphere be sucked out anyway? You ponder that for hours, but your hand has more curiosity or less sense than your head. You reach out, and your fingers brush another crystal-hard, slick surface. The Hadean land is blocked by a fracture, just like your supply closet. So, we'd probably die if we left, but thankfully for us, I suppose, we can't leave anyway. Okay. So what else was there even to be playing around with? The lab door to the north is open to the landscape. Apparently. Frightening landscape. Fracture to the east and the north. Okay, well let's examine these supplies. Lying on the flimsy table are a sheet of instructions, a sprig of rosemary, 2 impets of essential oil, and a pair of tarnished calipers and a brass pin. This looks promising. You can examine any of these items on the table. So let's read those instructions. Oh. Jake, how do you feel like taking notes on words that usually work for such types of games? Save some chat spam, at least. Haha. Well, fortunately, I don't have it on screen, but I have. This game comes with a little quick hint thing that includes the actions that are available in the game, as well as how to conjugate them with other actions, and a bunch of other information that I haven't bothered reading. So, way ahead of you, VV. Pretty sure we all missed Drac in here, Pepper, even Jake. Oh, especially Jake. Still, we pick up the sheet and find Sergeant Brooks' familiar scrawl, Ensign Forsyth. Great name. When you're finished scrubbing, get these calipers sorry, excited here. Get these calipers freshened up. You should be able to handle the ritual and see me afterwards. The other side is printed in familiar smudgy back letter of Navy receipts. For the cleansing of brash tarnish, prepare an atmosphere of fiery principles, place a brass token within the bound, and seal it. Speak a word of essential nature, so that the properties of brass may be evoked. Compound the atmosphere with a resinous note, then intone the lesser phlogistical saturation to complete the token's investment. Place token directly on tarnished item. The syllables of the saturation formula are spelled out below and scrawled beneath that. Resinous note. Take the rosemary. Swabby. You memorize the instruction, including the lesser phlogistical saturation. You also pick up the sheet just in case. To list what you've memorized, type recall. After months of diligent practice, you've memorized several common alchemical formulae. The lesser phlogistical saturation, word of binding, essential nature, simple sealing, and unsealing. You picked up assorted facts, the word assignment, the resinous note, a lecture on aromas. Okay. Can we recall the aroma lecture? Sounds exciting. You dimly recall taking notes of the uses of aroma in alchemy. Perfumes influence a ritual by adding elemental principles to the atmosphere. You might open an impet of ginger essence for a fiery ritual, or mint essence for a cooling effect. Citronelle is strengthening. Seaweed has something to do with breath. It was a tedious lecture. Perhaps we can also recall the resin... it doesn't have any kind of autocomplete. Great. The resinous note. The sergeant left you a scrawled note along with the tarnish recipe. Resinous note. Wave the rosemary. Schwabi. I see. Has Jake played Dwarf Fortress 4? Asks what not. I have not. I don't know anything about it as well. I've never even seen it be played. Just know that it's complex. Alright, there's a bunch of stuff here. Didn't really take it in, but am I meant to cleanse some brass tarnish? Perhaps I can take the supplies. The table is flimsy, but that doesn't mean you can drag it around the marcher with you. Or did you mean take one of the items on the table? Take items. You can't see such a thing. Alright, well let's take the what were on the supplies again? Take rosemary. Taken. Take oil. Which do you mean? The peppermint oil or the ginger oil? Take the ginger oil. Take the peppermint oil. We'll treat this like we're playing uninvited and just steal everything we see, I think. Take the calipers. Take the pin. Now let's look at the supplies. There are no supplies anymore. Good. Well, now that I have everything, what was I meant to do again? Recall the work assignment. When you're finished, once you've scrubbed all the floors in Gamelon, get the calipers freshened up. You should be able to handle the ritual. See me afterwards. Freshen up the calipers. Right. Right. Okay. I should probably do what my old recalled thing was. Hang on, what about this alchemy journal? What do we have? Reversing the process of tarnish and rust with the lesser phlogistical saturation. For the cleansing of brash tarnish, prepare an atmosphere of fiery principles. Weren't we told that ginger is a bit fiery? How? Okay, well, can I prepare? This is not an action I understand. Okay. So, an atmosphere of fiery principles. Oh, nice. We've got a bunch of stuff here that we can check. Thank you, GUI. Is suicide an action? Suicide is not an option. I think Jake will need to play some gas after the yawn counter hits 100. Do you mean truck sim? I hope you mean truck sim. Right, let's think about this. I need to freshen up the calipers. Yes, so I need to, perhaps recall the lesser phlogistical saturation. We get that part. Place a brass token within the bound, but do I have a brass token? What's my inventory anyway? A brass pin. Place brass pin on bound. You put the brass pin into the workbench bound. Great, we're onto something. Seal. What do you want to seal? Seal brass pin. It's not something you can close. I don't think that was what I meant with seal, but I can't be sure either. This is not the rogue survivor I recall, says Traffic. Oh man, I do love Rogue Survivor. Okay. Use ginger oil. It's not something you can use. Try a more specific action. Notes are for reading, dials are for turning, levers are for pulling. So what could I do with the ginger oil? Perhaps I could smell the ginger oil. The impet has no residual odor whilst it's sealed. Unseal the ginger oil. You pop it open. Aroma rolls out, stinging your nose. Smelling is one thing, but I want to inhale the ginger oil. You take a snort, ginger fire flares in your sinuses. That'll clear your head, possibly for the rest of the week. So can we use the ginger oil now? No, I cannot. Can I pour the ginger oil? It's not something we can empty. Place ginger oil on bench. Okay, well, it's onto the workbench. Maybe that's enough. I mean, it's there. It's filling the air with its smell. So I guess we have now prepared an atmosphere of fiery principles. We placed our brass token, or our brass pin rather, onto the bound, but we didn't seal it. How am I meant to seal something? Seal the bound. To begin the ritual, invoke the simple sealing word. How words? Not my strong point. Okay, so perhaps I need to recall the sealing word. The simple sealing word creates a boundary circle around a ritual space. Most alchemical procedures begin with a sealing word. Recall. Hey, I just did recall that. Maybe I have to recall a simple sealing word. Is that so? Is that so? Jake, your cheat sheet has a tab on the sealing word. There's a tab on the what now? Hey, electron aromas. Da 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 da. Open and pin. Da 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 da. Yep. Also, yep. Also, yep. Well, I'll be. I have no idea. No idea at all. This is painful on so many levels, says Traffic Cone, and a lot of other people are feeling the same way apparently. Remember your mantra, Jake. A lot of people just saying that they're in pain, but not actually elaborating at all on it. Which, I mean, must suck for them, because I'm having a good time. Still though, I don't know what I'm looking for or looking at here. The simple sealing word creates a boundary circle. They mean you should pour the ginger oil in your eye. Well, I'm not getting it at all. Let's go back to it. Maybe I should use a simple sealing word. Use is too vague. Okay, then let's say a sealing word. You take a breath, trace the bound in your mind, and intone the simple sealing word, whatever it is. The arc begins to glow orange around the impet of ginger oil and the brass pin. Alright, we might be working with something here. Now how was I meant to use this one again? Oh, speak a word of essential nature. Essential nature, eh? You intone the word of essential nature, but it wavers as you speak it. The impet of ginger oil and brass pin are too varied to evoke a simple or a single alchemical nature. So let's pick up the oil and let's speak another word of it. The nature of the brass pin flares unevenly. That isn't right. So is there something I'm meant to do with this oil? Put ginger oil on, what is it? It's brass pin, right? Oh, that doesn't seem to work. Do I have any fire around with us to use that oil with? Why is there an iron panel on the floor? What could that mean? Examine the iron panel. You've seen the iron panel before, of course. It's some kind of service hatch. It's been shut since forever and a quarter. It's faintly rusty around. Steel bolts that hold it are worse. So can I open the iron panel? Maybe we can clean the rust off. Alright, so perhaps we'll find some WD-40 lying around. Interesting. Still, what can I do with this oil to get the whole place feeling a bit fiery? So the workbench glows in orange. Inside it there's an impet of ginger oil that's open and a brass pin. Can we do ignite? Is that even a thing? Wow, okay. Ignite the oil. You lack any handy way to set things on fire. Well, this doesn't sound like me at all. Disappointing. Prepare an atmosphere of fiery principles. Recall atmosphere. Nothing comes to mind. What a shame. This doesn't feel very alchemical of us. Yeah, there'd be no such problem in Kamidori. We'd have fire for days there. This truly is torture, says Ank94. Well, if you have any bright ideas on how to advance things, I'm all ears. Hold on, there's a lecture on aromas, right? So perhaps if we recall a lecture on aroma... Oh wait, no, it's coming back to me. We already saw this. Open an impet for a fiery ritual. Okay, so all we have to do is open it. So we have done that. Here we extracted it. The orange light ripples. Okay, maybe I'm not meant to push it into the arc. compound the atmosphere with a resinous note. Examine the resinous. Is there a resinous note? Perhaps a resinous note is by waving rosemary. You wave the sprig and inhale its distinct resinous aroma. The fiery reek of ginger seems to shift to a cleaner, more gentle scent. So perhaps now we can intone the lesser phlogistical saturation. Okay. We were so close. You begin the lesser phlogistical saturation. The sounds try to bend and smear on your lips, but you're on your guard and you hold clearly to the formula. Nonetheless, something must have went wrong. The words seem to fall flat. Perhaps I need to place the ginger oil on the bench again and try it once more. No. Alright. Is the person who submitted this around? Asks Jules Sir. No, it's Golden Deer. Golden Deer has amazing luck when it comes to having their punishment game rolled, but they live on Korea time, so they're seldom around for the streams. I mean, we compounded the atmosphere with resinous note, but the lesser phlogistical saturation isn't helping us out here. It's a knot of breathy syllables. Perhaps I shouldn't have opened the... No, I didn't open the peppermint one. Place calipers on bench. And perhaps now I can try to no, okay. Nothing comes to mind. How can I not spell phlogistical today? Mächte me. I think we've done everything. Surely everything that would help us along the way here. You don't want to damage the brass pin, okay. Okay, let's try this once more. There's a bench there. Prepare it. Okay. let's try doing this in order then. Prepare an atmosphere of... Close the ginger oil first. Snap it closed, the aroma fades. Right. Everything seems normal now. Let's take it from the top. So open the ginger oil. Ginger aroma rolls out. Nice. It's all fiery. Place the brass on the bench. The brass pin or the tarnished calipers? The brass pin. Okay, and then seal the brass pin. Oh, it doesn't accept. Oh, right. Home is time. I use the home key to start and stop the timer, so it's not liking that. Seal the brass pin. There's not something you can close. Seal the bench. Speak the sealing word. Woomph. Okay. Now let's wave the rosemary. Alright, everything's looking good. Refreshing. Finally, recite the lesser. So now if we recite the lesser phlogistical saturation. What? You'll have to start over. I forgot to... Wait, what did I forget? The energy slowly converges, the orange light flares, but the brass pin seems to vibrate. And the ritual energy passes through it without leaving a trace. You waved the rosemary at the wrong time. Did I really? Did I really? I don't think I did. Oh well. Let's get that pin again. Workbench bound and empty. Alright, no aroma in the air, as it should be. Now, let's open the ginger oil to prepare an atmosphere of fiery principles. Let's place the brass pin on the bench. Now we say the simple sealing word. And now we need to... hold on. I don't think I've been speaking the word of essential nature in this whole time. Recite the word of essential nature. Good. Now let's wave the rosemary. And now we recite the lesser phlogistical saturation. Wow. You begin the lesser phlogistical saturation. Sounds try to bend and smear on your lips, but you're on guard. You hold clearly to the formula. The energy slowly converges. The orange light flares, drawing together the blended aromas and the words that you speak. When the light fades, a symbol shines on the surface of the brass pin. You have now completed the ritual. The brass pin will now untarnish the next brass item you touch it to. So, what if we put the brass pin on calipers? You aren't holding it. Okay, well, let's touch the calipers with pin. Okay, pick up the pin. Now let's touch them. Ho-ho! You carefully lay the basic saturation symbol against the calipers. With a loud crackle, The symbol discharges, sparks dance over the calipers, the tarnished brass flakes and vibrates. Within moments, the caliper gleaming brightly, the alchemical energy fade. Take that, Sarge, you think, with some smugness. And now that we've done it, we can do it quickly again. Perform tarnish cleansing. Okay, sweet. Now, do we still have the pin on us? Okay. Use pin on iron, what was it, a hatch? Use is too vague. Touch iron panel with pin. Not a rutch. Touch. Oh. Steel bolts. Right, that's no good since it's not made of brass. Okay, well, what am I meant to do with these calipers? These are standard naval chart calipers. You see the astrographers using them every time you walk past the tower. The brass gleams. Let's use those calipers. Okay, let's take a nap. Damn. Well, let's jump up and down. I understood the command jump up. That is, jump up, but in other words, and down. You fracture, or whatever it is. Oh, the fracture, or whatever it is a foot or so beyond the door. There's no room to step outside. You wouldn't want to take a stroll out there anyway. If you say so. Has the steel rust? I think that was the implication here. It's apparently been shut for forever. It's faintly rusty around its edges. And the steel bolts are holding it down are worse, so I assume the steel bolts are all rusty too. So, good job us, we managed to clean up our calipers after 40 minutes, but does that help us in any conceivable way? Let's close the ginger oil for starters. Aroma's gone. I want to wave the rosemary again just to enjoy the smell. You waft the scent around. So let's examine the hatch again and examine the steel bolts. Oh, same stuff. Turn the steel bolts. You twist the steel bolts, but they're rusty. Probably haven't been turned since the retort was built. Recall the retort. Nothing comes to mind. Okay, good to know. What else do we have to play with? The lab is dim. Wooden walls, broad stone surface. Lab door is to the north. And there's some fracture. Can I use the calipers on the fracture? Probably not. And a bit more, Spending all this time locked in a room reminds me of New Year 2015? Or was it 14? Use oil on bolts. I don't think that's going to help. Pour oil. Pour ginger oil on bolts. Putting things on the iron panel would achieve nothing. Make some lubricant. No? Okay. Shame. What do you want to eat? Eat the oil. Ugh. The ginger oil, of course. It's plainly inedible. Alright then, drink the ginger oil. For shame. Ah, but rosemary is edible. You pull off a rosemary needle, stick it in your mouth and chew contemplatively. Yes, that's fresh rosemary. Then you spit it out because needles are tough. Examine the bundle of paper. Bits of paper, they contain the saturation, tarnish, cleansing, as well as the work assignment. You have more memorized, of course. You don't need to refer to the paper to use them. I don't think we've used the elementary word of binding, have we? Frequently used to make chemical compounds, or chemical. Hold on, I have a steel bolt. Why do I have a steel bolt? A single steel bolt, somewhat worn in the thread. Is that so? Use it on the hatch. Not so sure. I was told putting anything on the hatch would be a waste of time. Surely there's some use for these calipers. Standard gleaming brass. Can we perform the same ritual but with steel instead? Reverses the process of tarnish and rust. That might be a not too bad idea. What was it that I can do now whenever I want? Perform tarnish cleansing. Perform tarnish cleansing with steel bolt. With perform tarnish cleansing then. The brass pin is already inscribed. Alright, place steel bolt on bench. You put it now, let's perform it. Why the brass? Can we only do it with brass? Maybe it's only for the brass tarnish. I imagine if I could get this steel thing on to be sealed with it, then I could touch the rusted bits on the hatch with my steel bit and then unscrew it and get out of here. Down into the crawlway or crawl hall or what's it? Alright, well we could try it anyway. So what do I have to do again? Seal the bench or whatever. Excuse me there. Yeah, we had a look at the hatch, and the steel bolts are too rusty. I really think we got to do something with those. Alright, let's try it anyway. Let's open the ginger oil to create fiery principles. Oh, damn. We, get the steel bolt. Right. Now, open the ginger oil. Aroma comes up, so place steel bolt on bench. Put steel bolt on the bench. Okay, seal the bench. Invoke simple sealing. Word. Yeah, my bad typing will be the death of me someday. The steel bolt's now glowing, that's good. Speak the word of essential nature. Metallic nature of the steel bolt rises to the surface. So far, so good. Wave the rosemary. Wave it even. You can only do that to something animate. Nice. Okay, we have a nice gentle scent in the air. And then intone the lesser phlogistical saturation. Well, damn, it worked. And we've been updated. We can do this. You're able to substitute steel for brass. Excellent. So we're going to get the steel bolt. Pick it up. Touch steel bolt to hatch. Carefully lay the basic saturation symbol against the steel bolt. The symbol discharges a loud, crackling buzz. Sparks fly across the surface of the iron panel. The bolt heads rattle as the rust sublimes away. Wonderful. Now we should be able to do this again, right? If we recall, now we can perform basic rust cleansing. Conjure basic saturation symbol into the steel bolt. Easy. Okay, enter the hatch. You're in a low, dimly lit corridor that runs from east to west. A hatch by your ducked head opens to the laboratory above. To the east. Remembering why I don't read now. To the east, the crawl space is interrupted by another fracture. Perhaps the same one you saw in the lab. This one is different. You see a figure caught behind the fracture. You peer closer. That's Lieutenant Anders. Apparently frozen mid-step. What's she doing here? And why is she carrying an alchemical reagent jar? A chemic flask rests nearby. It reeks of rubbing alcohol. You completed a ritual and escaped the lab. The tutorial is over. You can explore on your own from here. Well, we're going to open the pot of greed. That's behind the fracture, out of reach. So we cannot go east. So let's walk west. The crawl space runs da 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 da. There's another closed hatch above you. It's even rustier than the last one. So touch steel bolt with hatch. Okay, the symbol discharges, sparks fly, a rust sift down, but the charge doesn't seem to be sufficient this time. The hatch is going to require something stronger. But I've lost my my steel thingamajigger, so I should probably walk east, enter lab, and climb hatch, and then once again perform the rust cleansing thing, enter hatch, crawl our way west. Okay, just walk west then. Another closed hatch, so can I push the hatch open? Even rustier, man. Do you even lift? Alright, let's take another look around. Nothing else. To the south, a few steps lead down to a dark doorway. So let's walk south. The second alchemical, what? What? Oh. Oh, there was quite a bit. Something is wrong. Something is missing. You walk through the doorway, feeling blindly downward with your foot for an invisible floor. You're adrift without a reference. You never found the door. You can't remember where it was supposed to be. Something is drawing you in. You awaken again. You fight off deja vu. Feel like you've been in this place before. Everything is black, as if you'd first awakened in the lab. Okay, did I die? Can we enter the hatch again? Yep, okay, well then let's walk west, and let's try it again. Wait, can I do something slower here then? Look south. Does not permit you to look into adjacent rooms. Try going south. Okay. Seems like we keep dying here. Once again, the world has reset itself. Yeah, but it's not too bad because our inventory is... What? Oh. Well, we can go down here. First, opening the iron panel, you get the steel bolt spring of da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ah, so we redo everything that we did to begin with. Kind of. I don't think I understand, but sure. Walk west some more. The crawlway bends here, running from east to north. Another hatch is set into the floor. This one is already open. A moldy sheet of paper is lying here. Looks like an alchemical recipe. Well, let's get that paper. Redoubled tarnish cleansing. Deeply corroded metal may not yield to the basic tarnish removal ritual. In such cases, one must locate a more potent resinous element. Rather than the common rosemary or lavender twig, try a branch or cone from an evergreen tree. It may be necessary to crush the element to release its full effect. You memorize the instructions and pick up a... Tell me, can I punch? You see no reason to start fighting with a steel bolt. Can I punch self? After all you've survived? Yes, okay. Can I kill? Can I kill self? Okay, it doesn't want me to hurt myself. Can I talk? Can I talk to myself? Just had to check. Can I listen? You hear nothing. Can I touch? Can I touch myself? Not now. Clever game. Okay, let's climb down the hatch. You are in the Retorts Herb House. Odd to reach it from the sub-basement. You usually come here through the upper laboratory floor. But that's a marcher for you. A short ladder leads up to the ceiling hatch through which you entered. You seem to be trapped in the east corner of the greenhouse. The main space, with its trays of sunlit herbs and vines, is blocked off by another fracture. Only a few bits of herbage remain within reach. A shelf holds a small bin labeled mustard seed. Next to the bin are a pine cone, a dried mushroom, and a sprig of honeysuckle. You notice a few orange threads lying in a crack in the floor. I'll be examining this. Examine the crack. Like the other fractures you found, this one looks faintly distorted. Well, that's not what I mean. I want to examine the floor. Look at floor. Examine the orange threads. These look like, yes, it's a small quantity of orange saffranum. An extraordinarily expensive spice. Whoever spilled this was very careless. Take saffranum. You gather up the orange threads. Well, lucky me. Let's also take the pine cone and take the sprig and take the... well, let's not take it before we examine it. It could be poisonous. Let's look at this mushroom. You have no idea what species. One dried mushroom looks a lot like another. Well, let's take the mushroom anyway. Grab everything we can. And let's also take a nap. No? Okay. Why are we not tired? Some of this stuff must be edible, right? Let's eat the mushroom. There's no reason for an arbitrary mushroom in the alchemical stores to be poisonous, but you're just nervous enough to skip trying. Hasty. Makes wasty. Right, let's have another look around. A shelf holds a small bin. Labeled. Let's have a look at this bin. Small bin of mustard seeds. Alright, well, let's take the seeds. Take a pinch of mustard seeds from the bin. The inventory looks okay. Doesn't look like there's anything else we can do here. Fractures like all the others. Alright, let's climb up. You must name something more substantial. Okay, enter the hatch. And then walk north. The crawl space ends here. There's only one way back, and that's to the south. You're pretty sure that you're under the chemical lab now. You see one last hatch in the ceiling. This one is not rusted. In fact, it looks like someone recently oiled it up. Unfortunately, whoever it was also affixed a heavy brass lock. Another stray flask is sitting on the ground. This one is labeled Lubanja. Let's have a look at this flask. Lubanja, or JavaScript, is an essence distilled in the resin of certain Indonesian trees. It's an excellent solvent of substances which resist water. Can we take the flask? Yes, we can. Looks like we're going to have to go back to the alchemical lab and put some of this to use, but we know double tarnish cleansing inscription with brass pin, which we could probably use to get into the main lab of some such. Can you take all / everything? Might be an idea, but I like to enjoy things bit by bit. Tarnish cleansing and brass to prepare an atmosphere fire principles, brass, compound, deeply corroded metal may not yield. In such cases, rather than rosemary, try. Okay. So we just got to do the same thing, but with this. Well, let's give it a go. Let's walk south. And then walk east, and what was it? Enter the hatch. So, put steel bolt on. No, not yet, not yet. Fiery principles. The only thing we need to change here is the resinous note, right? So perhaps we should first crush the pine cone. Perhaps I should have done that later. Oh well, we'll take this one from the top. So, take ginger oil. Open ginger oil. Stings the old nose right there. Place steel bolt. on bench. And then we want to seal the bench by invoking the simple sealing word. It starts to glow very nicely. And then we wish to speak a word of essential nature. Metallic nature rises to the surface, as one would hope. Now we need to compound the atmosphere by crushing a pine cone. Crush pine cone. I crushed the only pine cone I had. Were there more? Hopefully having already crushed it will be okay, but I fear that I... fear I might have done it too fast. Hope I don't have to go and kill myself just to reset everything. Let's try going further with this anyway. So, intone the lesser phlogistical saturation. Alright, didn't work at all then. Let's enter the hatch. Walk west, enter hatch. Can I get another pine cone? No, I probably scuppered myself. After all, you survived. No, I messed it all up. Let's enter the hatch once more, walk east and walk south, and we're back where we started. So if I enter the hatch, walk west, enter the hatch, take all. Nice. Enter hatch, walk north, take all, walk south, walk. Hold on, can I enter secondary alchemical lab from here? No. Okay, well, just walk east and enter hatch. And take all, of course. Now, open the ginger oil. Put steel bolt on bench. Now we seal bench. We invoke simple sealing word. Excellent. Speak word of essential nature. Wonderful, it's all rising up. Now we crush the pine cone. The fiery reek of ginger goes clean and harsh. Excellent. Now, once more, we intone the lesser phlogistical saturation. And there we go. The energy pulses and converges. The orange light goes blinding bright, drawing together the blended aromas and the words that you speak. When the light fades, a symbol shines on the surface of the steel bolt. Take that bolt and then bolt out of here. Enter that hatch. Walk to the west. Touch hatch with bolt. You carefully lay the redoubled saturation symbol against the iron panel. The symbol discharges. Orange sparks crackle everywhere, nearly singeing your fingers. For a moment you think this inscription will fail as well, but rust rains down and bolts slowly emerge from their corrosion. By the time the energy has cleared, the hatch is as good as new. Well then, open that hatch. You push it open, now we enter the hatch. This workshop features two of the more mundane devices of the alchemist's life, a hand-cranked wire drawer and the wire splicer wheel. The lab door is to the north, but it's crusted over with horrible-looking mold. What's happened here? The crawlway hatch is open. You see a small storeroom to the west. Oh my god. How do people manage reading? An extremely corroded cabinet is fastened to the wall. It is closed. To one side, some supplies are lying on a counter. Two metal rods, platinum and nickel, an iron bead, and a lump of rock salt. Something glitters on the floor. It looks like a circle of fine glass thread. Well, let's just take everything we see. Which it truly is everything. Let's take a look around. Can we open the cabinet? Cabinet will not open. Its hinges are corroded into an immovable mass. Can we examine those hinges? The cabinet looks strangely dingy. The metal surface is pitted, and the hinges are a swollen mass of corrosion. Very strange. The cabinet was fine yesterday, and you'd have bet that it was rust-proof to begin with. Half the Marcher's fittings are made from this alloy. Joel Sear concludes that half the people here have already fallen asleep. Reduction by falling asleep. I wouldn't be surprised. Jake is reading himself and chat to sleep. This is like a wee skit out of a kid's cartoon, but it's really working that way for me. I am just... Michte me. Regardless, it doesn't look like I can do much with this cabinet. I don't know what it's made of that I can remove the corrosion. Traffic Cone says, just wish this was Rogue Survivor instead. Well, Rogue Survivor is not a punishment game. Any reason to play that game some more, though. Veteran Vandal suggests that we simply punch the cabinet. I'm inclined to agree. You see no reason to start a fight with the cabinet. Well, it won't open. That's a pretty good reason. The lab doors... Horrible looking mold. Can we examine the mold? A lumpy greenish grey swath is crusted down the wall and across the door. It looks like some kind of mold. You have no idea what could have caused so much growth in a well-maintained Marcher. But this room doesn't look so well maintained as it did yesterday. Okay. I can splice wire and I can draw wire. So can I draw some wire? No. I took glass, platinum, nickel, iron, and rock salt. It's a pale, grainy lump of rock salt the size of your fist. Starting to carry quite a few things these days. Don't know what to do with much of it. I could probably run the tarnish cleansing inscription, but that's a bit of a waste of time if I don't know what these hinges are made of. Ah, there's a small storeroom though. Can we look at the storeroom? Enter storeroom. Walk west. There we go. You're in a small storage area. Before we even look at what's around us, let's just take everything. Wonderful. To one side stands a heavy table, upon which is another ritual bound. This one is adjustable. It is currently empty. This is a real challenge. There's another cabinet here. This one is clean, but locked. An untidy storage bin contains 3 stone chips, obsidian, granite and sandstone. A moon metal rod, a broad quartz prism, a long quartz prism, and a fluorspar crystal. A crumpled receipt sheet is lying by the ritual bound. Someone has dropped a standard glass chime, the sort used in musical rituals. It's marked as being in the key of H. Take everything, the crumpled sheet, universal tarnish cleansing, the basic tarnish rituals employ the law of similarity. A steel token removes rust from steel. To prepare a token that will work on any corroded metal, now we're talking. One must prepare a catalytic environment rather than a fiery one. Place a token of brass or steel in the bound and begin with a simple unsealing. Recite the categorical imperative. Pour a drop of JavaScript upon the token. Conclude with the lesser phlogistical saturation, as we always do. The text of the categorical imperative is jotted below. As Kaiser says, bring back Draken. You know, Kaiser, I don't think you were saying that back when we had Draken. The chat for then is gone by now. Pah. How far does this thing go up? Not too far. Right, on the reverse side, Sergeant Brooks has written, practice this ritual using the adjustable bound. Platinum wire will create a catalytic environment. If other elements, aromas, do not contaminate the area. Ooh. Tools are available in the lab. This must be a lesson for the advanced students. You memorize the instructions, including the categorical imperative. You also pick up the sheet just in case. The glass chime, the chip of obsidian, chip of granite, chip of sandstone, moon metal rod, broad quartz prism, long quartz prism, and the fluorspar crystal have all been added to our overflowing inventory. Okay. Seems like now is the time to make some universal tarnish cleansing so that we can open up the cabinet, right? Okay. So I need to create a catalytic environment first. Platinum wire will create a catalytic environment. So if I use the platinum, well, that's too vague. How am I meant to use this? Given this game has an airlock and given you love for those oddball reasons, it would be more fitting ending the stream when reaching that goal. I don't know when we're going to hit the airlock. We've been at this for an hour and a quarter and we've only really dossed around in this little area. However, it looks like this door is only covered in mold rather than being broken off by some kind of fracture. It could be that we're able to get into the corridor over to the airlock and then end it all. That would be something, wouldn't it? I wonder how long this game is. Also, what's with flash star button? Ah. Ooh. There's something I find quite alluring about this map. So simple. After all, you survived. Right. I wonder what I can do to create a catalytic environment. Create a catalytic environment. Ah, using the adjustable... Oh, no, that doesn't help. Platinum wire will create it. But how? How would I do such a thing? I can't... Well, let's take it from the start. From the top. Create a catalytic environment. You don't know what that might be. Recall. Recall. Universal tarnish cleansing inscription. Yes. Of course. I need to create this catalytic environment and have platinum wire. I don't have platinum wire, do I? I have... do I have any platinum at all? Brass, steel, glass, iron, rock salt, paper, chime. Why did I think I had platinum wire on me? Alright, well, let's walk east for a bit. Wire splicer, hand cranked, so turn hand crank for starter. Turn just the regular crank then. No metal is running through the wire drawer, so the crank turns freely. Open wire drawer. No, okay. Let's examine the wire drawer. Not a drawer full of wire, but a wire drawer. It's a simple mechanical contrivance for turning metal rods into wire. You drop your rod into the groove and then turn the crank, or more accurately, leaning all your weight on the crank. With sufficient effort, the metal is forced through a set of rollers and dies and reduced to wire. So I need to find some platinum to throw into this. How do you make platinum? Don't you have to have a lighter open and then not let it extinguish? Then you get your platinum star. Hold on, hold the phone, right? I have it right here. I have a metal, I have a platinum rod. Put platinum in wire drawer. And wire drawer. You slide the platinum rod into the groove, ready to be drawn into the device. Now turn the crank. You begin hauling on the crank and the platinum rod is slowly drawn into the device. Soon wire begins spooling, good word, out onto the counter. After several minutes of sweat, sore hands and metallic creaking noises, the rod is entirely consumed. The platinum wire falls free into a loose coil. So let's get platinum. Alright, so with that taken, we can now walk to the west and then put platinum on the desk. The bench then. Table. There's a complete circuit around the arc. Lucky us. So with that, we probably have a catalytic environment now. So now we can place the brass pin on the table. Excellent. Alright, so let's recite the categorical imperative. You say the categorical imperative, there is no effect. Alright, let's seal. Invoke the simple sealing word. And now, let's recite. The metallic nature of the brass pin extends smoothly into a general class, whatever that could possibly mean. Now, let's pour JavaScript on the... You carefully drip Lubanja onto the brass pin, lucky us, and then let us recite the lesser phlogistical saturation. Okay, the energy converges, flares, but the brass pin seems to vibrate. Passes through it without a trace. That's not good. What did I fail to do? Did I not create a catalytic environment? Ah, the ginger is open. Close ginger oil. The aroma now fades away. Gorton Michael wants the rain to stop, but Frozen Kaiser says the rain is amazing. So if you want the rain to stop, say so. If you want it to continue, also say so. We have the power to do both, but not at the same time. Right, let us try one more time. Let's examine the table for starters. I thought Jake liked the rain. I love rain. The rain must continue, says Brelix. The rain is amazing, says Bear Theory. Getting Zen of Sudoku vibes. Keep it up. Rain is good. The rain is comfortable. You could raise the rain volume a bit. Also possible. I think we can raise it quite a bit. I'm sure they'll cheese off whoever wanted it gone. Who was it? Gorton Michael. Well, too bad for them. Right. The brass pin rests. I think everything undid itself, right? So let's try this one more time. Seal the table. Invoke the simple sealing word. Hold on, I can just up my way through this instead of typing it out. Recite the categorical imperative. Then pour JavaScript. And then recite. You master the sounds. Pulses, converges, green light goes blinding. Excellent. Well, let's take the pin. We walk to the east. And touch pin with cabinet. Why do these things have to run out so fast? You carefully lay the universal saturation symbol against the cabinet. The symbol discharges. Corrosion falls away. For the fourth time, I think now, we have removed rust. Could have just brought some WD-40. Jake, put some jazz in there. If I put in jazz, I'm probably going to get hauled up for copyright stuff. We'll just enjoy the rain for now. It's probably more fitting for where the game is too. Okay, the cabinet is shiny clean, shiny as it's ever been. Well then, let's open the cabinet. You open the cabinet, revealing a torn sheet and a rusty stained oh, okay, well then, take it all. Not all. Torn sheet. I've sealed off the chemical lab access so that nobody stumbles into anything. If you need in, Mars, Luna, Jupiter, J.A. You don't recognize the handwriting. You memorize the information and also add the sheet to your bundle of paper, rust-stained sheet. You pick up the sheet. It's a potion receipt, a bane for mushrooms, lichen, and other fun guys. Prepare your chemic retort with mustard seed and a sample of fungus and saline bath. Seal, turn on burner. Aha. Heat to a gentle simmer. Invoke the binding of antipathy, thus attuning the mustard's toxic qualities to your sample. Decant. The binding is spelled out below. You memorize the instructions, including the binding of Isaac. You also add the sheet to your bundle of paper. Ugh, this is getting lengthy. So I no longer have my my super rust be gone pin. Let's look around once more though. Horrible looking mold. What was the situation with the mold again? Can I clean the mold? It's dry and hard, better than slimy and nasty, but you can't brush it off the door either. Yeah, sure. The door's made of pine though, at least we know that much. Ignite the door, please. Set fire to door. Ignite door. You lack any handy way to set things on fire. It was reference to a burner, right? Well now. There was talk of the chemical lab, but I wasn't able to get in there because there was a brass lock. Anything new on our alchemical journal though? I never did this, but I don't think I need to. Fungicide. A bane for mushrooms, lichen, and other fun guy. I wonder if the mold is counted in that. One would hope so. Can you scrape up a mold sample from the door? It's a good question. A sample of fungus. Can I take some mold? They're all stuck together. Do I have something that will help me remove it? Maybe some calipers. I mean, surely I'd be able to chisel them off, but my calipers are still all busted up. I mean, what would I be using them for? Pull the mold. The mold is already closed. Isn't there a U in mold? Could have sworn there is. Can I break some off? Break the mold. Unlikely. Dang. Did I spot dried mushroom for a sample of fungus? Yeah, well, we have it up here, right? A bane for mushrooms, lichen, and other fungi. There's nothing saying I need a sample of that exact fungus, so I guess I could use the one that I have. A saline bath, seal, turn on burner. Do we even have access to a burner? Just look around you. What a great show. Platinum wire. Oh, I want my platinum wire back. Table, bound, adjustable, empty. Okay. Walk east. Enter the hatch. Walk west. Take everything you got. Walk north. Heavy brass lock. Sounds like the chemical lab is where I want it to be, but Assidious is well in tune with how I operate, pointing out that deep down Jake is enjoying this, knowing that some people hate it more than he does. This game is pretty boring, but still more exciting to me than Papers, Please. Nothing saying that boring is bad. Boring can be very good. There is an element of enjoyment here for me. Can't you invoke rust on the brass lock? I don't think it works that way. I just have ways to clean rust. I mean, my entire job could be outsourced by a bottle of WD-40. So, unless I magically find a way to destroy locks. But I can't see any way to open this thing up. Got a bunch of stuff, but hang on. Salt can rust stuff. Crush the rock salt. You don't want to damage it. Okay. Rub salt on lock. You touch the lump of rock salt lightly on the iron panel with no result. Dang. How could it be? Got a bunch of stones as well, not that I know what they're going to be good for, and a prism and a crystal. Was there a note that said getting into the lab? Let's recall for a bit. Oh, jeez. Rituals, formulae, facts. Crawlway access combination. Yes, so let's recall the crawlway access combination. The crawl what? The crawlway. I've sealed off the chemic lab access so that no one stumbles. If you need in Mars... Okay, perhaps we should examine the lock. I'll be examining this. The brass lock is a common planetary combination affair. It's jammed through a hole drilled into the hatch coaming, though, and that can't possibly be service standard. Somebody added this, and fairly recently it appears. What? Let me read that again and maybe it'll make a bit more sense. The brass lock is a common planetary combination affair. It's jammed through a hole drilled in the hatch coaming, though. Somebody added this, and fairly recently. A hole drilled in the hatch coaming has jammed it. Okay. Let's open the lock. It's inscribed with astrological planets in the familiar European tradition. Set dial to Mars. Set dial to Luna. Set dial to Jupiter. The lock snaps open. We open the hatch and we enter the hatch. Reminds me of this lock I had where you had to move it in northeast southwest directions, and I can never operate them for some reason. Just now I know my northeast southwest. I'm no lucky here, but they don't work well with me. This wide room is dominated by a huge glass retort. You practice many chemical rituals in this apparatus. Hanging above the retort is an instructional sign. The lab door to the east is closed. Dang. The only other exit is the hatch in the floor, which is open. A supply rack holds 5 chemic flasks, sand, vinegar, muriatic acid, mineral oil, and saline neatly lined up. 2 papers, a folded sheet and a wrinkled sheet are lying here. You can also see a brass coin and an impet of citronelle oil here. Well, I know what I'm doing. Wrinkled sheet. This appears to be an instructor's notes for lecture. Lab demonstration number 5. Calcinate of copper. Place muriatic acid and quick copper, ochryllium, into the retort. No, it's orichalcum. Me calling it ochryllium is something I've done far too often, but it's orichalcum, I think. Heat to dissolve and continue heating until the green salt crystallizes. Note the product is unstable. Flush retort directly after demonstration. Do not extract calcinate. You memorize the information and also add the sheet to your bundle of paper. Folded sheet. This paper appears to be a student's notes from some advanced class. It spells out 2 formulae, a word of extension, which delays or lengthens a chemical reaction, and a word of culmination, which resolves the same. You memorize the information, including the 2 formulae. You'll also add the sheet to your bundle of paper. We've got a brass coin, impet of citronelle oil, a flask of sand, vinegar, muriatic acid, mineral oil, and saline. Yes. Open door. You pull the door open. This door is no better than the last. You look out over a Thalasan land, thick grey waves heaving beneath a lowering brown sky. Fortunately, another fracture protects you from its no doubt toxic airs. I'm not sure I understand. Isn't this like some kind of hallway here? Looks like it should be. It even says hall, so what? Thick greys, brown sky. Did someone rip the roof off, perhaps? Well, thank goodness for this crystal-like tear in the fabric of the world. How about that? Well, it's high time we brewed ourselves that fungicide as fridge manager. Fridge manager? There's seen some pretty awful names around here, and that is one of them. Recht. Fungicide. Let's close that door. Feels a bit dangerous. You shut the door on the Thalasan world. Can we examine the retort? The retort is a magnificent piece of glassware, the pride of the laboratory. It practically is the laboratory, a bespoke apparatus for any sort of chemical ritual. The outer enclosure is a glass bulb 2 feet across. Its equator is etched with an encircling ritual bond. Suspended within is a reservoir for chemic reagents and a mesh basket for solid components. A retort has a slot in the top for adding these reagents, a tap for extracting products, and a dump valve for discarding ruined experiments. The base also contains a glass burner, though it is not currently lit. What does Jake think of the game, says Lord Seru. Perhaps me trying to read this passage but yawning loudly during it will sum it up nicely. Boring or just tired, Jake? I was in bed for 12 hours last night. I'm not that tired. I'm not seeing any way to set a fire here, though. slot for adding reagents, a tap for extracting products, a dump valve for discarding ruined experiments. Ah, no, it contains a gas burner. So, light gas burner. You twist the knob, gas burner hisses and then bursts into flame. Wonderful! It's high time we got ourselves some rich fungicide. So, prepare your chemic retort with mustard seed and a sample of fungus in a saline bath. Okay, so turn off burner. Zoop. So, add some saline Dion. No, porcelain into retort. Okay, we pour in a measure. Put mustard seeds in retort. Can't see any such thing. What, the mustard seeds or the retort? Where are my mustard seeds? Enter the hatch, walk south, enter the other hatch, take all, take seeds, okay, sure. Into the hatch again, walk north, enter the hatch again, examine retort, contains some, so put seeds in retort. Of course, we pinch them in. Mustard seed, add mushroom. Put mushroom in retort. See what the retort has to say. Lying in the retort are dried mushroom and a pink mustard seed is suspended in a quantity of saline, so they are in there. Seal retort. Invoke the simple sealing word. You take a breath, trace the bound in your mind, and intone the simple sealing word, but it echoes off key. The retort's bound does not close. What? How about we invoke hermetic sealing? You take a breath, trace the bound in your mind, and intone the hermetic sealing. The retort's equator begins to glow pearl grey around the dried mushroom, the pinch of mustard seed, and the reservoir of saline. So far, so not bad. Turn on burner. Yeah. Heat to a gentle simmer. So heat the solution? No? Can I wait a bit? It heats the saline. Good. Saline bubbles over. Well, bubbling is pretty much simmering, right? Invoke the binding of antipathy. Invoke binding of antipathy. Okay, nice. You begin invoking the binding of antipathy, forcing out the bitter phrases. Gradually the mustard seeds dissolve and the saline solution acquires a lavender tint. Purple fumes begin to fill in the retort. When you finish choking out the formula, the liquid is deep purple in hue. You find an empty vial in the clutter and tap the fungicide from the retort. Phew! It smells awful. You snap the vial shut. As an afterthought, you shut off the gas flame. You also pull the retort's dump lever. The mushroom falls out into your hand. It's damp, but none the worse for wear. So I get to keep myself the mushroom, and it's still dried apparently, despite being damp. Regardless, we have a bunch of fungicide, right? So let's enter the hatch, walk south, walk east, enter this other hatch, and use fungicide on door. Pour fungicide on door. You splash the fungicide onto the door, the mold bubbles and shrivels away, leaving the wood clean. Well, only a bit stained. The hinges seem to be clear now anyway. Can I save? Ooh, it's letting me save. That's quite nice. Not going to, but thanks. Open the door. You open the prime door. Walk north and don't die. This is the southwest corner of the laboratory access hallway. It's done up in rough wallpaper, faintly scuffy and very familiar. These halls are the center of your student life. The hall runs north and east from here. To the south, the door is open. The chemic lab door is to the west. It is closed. The lab stairwell opens to the northeast, but a fracture prevents entry. A sheet of paper lies discarded in the hall. A Schwabi out of the lab is like a fish out of the sea. Thanks, Sarge. I'll remember that. Take everything. Someone has dropped off yet another alchemical recipe. Oh, this is useful. You've used an oculus before, but never learned to create one. To create a resinal oculus rift. An exceptional tool for observing unseen influences. Prepare an environment with lunar influences. This will require a bound of chest or shelf. Place any lunar symbol on the shelf, but take care to exclude contaminating aromas. Then place a glass loop within the bound and begin with a simple sealing. Vocalize a resonant tone to tune the loop into a Celtic mode, followed by a symbol of counterbalance to fixate it. You're not sure what tone and syllable the recipe is referring to, but the mention of the Gestalt shelf jogs loose a memory of another lecture. You memorize the instructions. Right, let us recall then. Let us recall a lecture on Gestalt shelves. Aromas are one way to set the environmental influences for a ritual. For more precise control, you can use a Gestalt shelf if the ritual bound has one. Not all do. By placing specific items on the shelf before the ritual begins, you can apply precise symbolic markers to the environment. Well, that's very fun, but how about we walk north instead? The laboratory hallway runs east and south from its junction, and the corridor runs west towards the rest of the marcher. To the north, a door to the main store is open. How bizarre. Someone has scrawled graffiti on the wall here. The black marks are cruelly twisted, cautiously twisted. They hint at meaning, but you cannot read them. Examine those scrawls. Examine the graffiti. Twisting, involuted strokes of black are scrawled across one wall. The graffito is irregular. Neither artistically symmetrical nor ink splotch random, but if this were a script, it's utterly foreign to your understanding. Walk west. This hallway runs east and west, however the fire door to the west is locked, sealing you off from the rest of the retort. A smaller door to the north leads to the primary alchemical lab, but blocked by another fracture. An archway to the south leads to the library. Another standard glass chime. I'm taking it though. A glass G flat chime has been taken. Alright, let's examine this door. Which door? The heavy fire door or the pine primary door. The fire door, of course. The massive swinging door that separates the laboratories from the rest of the marcher is closed and locked. You've never seen this door closed except during an all-sections drill. The retort's emergency animations must have been triggered by whatever has happened. Can we open the door? It seems to be locked. Can we examine the lock? No. Well, what can a man do? Well, let's walk south into that library. This library serves the laboratory wing. You haven't spent much time here. The trainees have their own study room, but you've often admired the rows of fat, musty tomes on their elegant carved shelves. The archway is north. 2 papers, an each sheet and an untidy sheet, lie unregarded on the floor. You notice your rotor card sticking. Well, I mean, steal everything. You've taken all the untidy sheet. It's another alchemical recipe. A potion to resist all injury by heat or fire. This component protects the drinker by balancing heat against cool. These symbolized by opposing aromas. Place a measure of saline into a bound. Employ the simple sealing with no aroma. Release a fiery aroma. Invoke counterbalance. Change the atmosphere to chill. Invoke an elementary word of binding. You recall from an unusually digressive lecture that one never uses the chemic retort for potions intended to be drunk. You memorize the instructions, including the syllable of counterbalance. You also add the sheet to your bundle of paper. On the neat sheet, the paper explains how to sing a resonant tone, which resonates with the structure of the matter. We memorize, and we grab the rotor card. What else is in this library? The library serves the laboratory wing. You haven't spent much time here, of course. Let's walk north. And can we walk north again? You push through the fracture, but the surface is impenetrable. Let's examine this fracture. Another one? Okay. Then walk east. And north. This is the general storeroom for the retort's laboratories. Shelves begin and extend to east and west, however a fracture to the east blocks a large part of the room. Door to the south is open. You recognize a figure to the east. Beyond the fracture, it's Ensign Tsk. He's moving towards you, or you would be if you were not frozen in place. The steel safe is... say no more. The safe is plain steel, blocked, set into the wall. A combination dial shows the 13 zodiacal constellations. Slightly quaint, but the service is slow to change. A good thing. The safe is closed and locked. Open safe. Punch safe. What a shame. The safe is locked, its dial is inscribed, so I guess we need to figure out how to open the lock. For shame. You are in an awkward nook behind the storeroom's last shelf. The rest of the room is east. You see another hatch in the floor. It's too small for a person. The cover seems to be solid lead and is closed. A glint of light reveals an alchemy file seal lying near the hatch. Some officer will be in deep trouble for losing it. What a shame, because I'm taking it. Let's examine the file seal. This is a This is a seal of silvery bright rutilum cast in the insignia of the alchemy file. High-ranking alchemy officers carry such badges. Someday you will be granted one, but right now, this one will be awfully handy. Let's walk east and south. Jake, there might be other shortcut keys like X, like N for north. Yeah, we used like walk S previously for walk south, but I don't want to. We shall walk east. It feels nice to type on this keyboard, so with the exception of X, because X is a pretty cool key to hit, I prefer to type things out. This is the northeast corridor. It runs south and west. The lab stairwell opens to the southwest, but a fracture prevents entry. The tertiary lab is to the east, but the door is locked. Let's check out that door. Let's check the oak door. Oh, it's open. Well, what about the pine door? It's locked. Examine the lock. No? Okay. Well then, looks like we are walking north. Waves of heat fill this room, radiating from a massive brick kiln and roaring gas burner that fire it. The lab door is south, Within the kiln, half obscured by the rippling heat, you can see a thick key and a porcelain paten. A table at the other end of the room supports a glass vapor crock. The crock is open and empty. You see a jar, setter splints on the table. Next to it are, well, it's a lot of stuff. Let's just take what we can. You can barely come near the kiln's opening. Reaching inside is impossible. So we need to drink something that allows us to enter the kiln suicidally. How about a potion of bravery? There's a tangle of storage racks. Let's do what comes naturally. Whew, what a fair bunch of stuff. Oh, I guess O is to correct something. Interesting, but... Okay, let's walk to the west. There's an optics lab down south, so if we get there, we'll be able to fix our vision once and for all. But we've just passed the 2-hour mark, and I always say that I run my punishment games for an arbitrary length of time. 2 hours and 1 second feels arbitrary enough for me. I quite like this game, Hadean Lands. I don't like it enough to keep playing it, but it's refreshing to play a text adventure game. I like the map. I quite like the writing. I just don't like reading, so that's not enough to fill me with desire to keep on playing, but I still enjoyed the experience. I would say I hope you guys did as well, but truth be told, I hope you hated every minute of it, because that would make me even happier. There was something quite relaxing about playing the game as well, perhaps too relaxing, because I've just been yawning away at this. And I feel it I just keep feeling them setting in, all this reading. Veteran Vandal says, it wasn't that bad, whilst Worm is saying, now you're ready for a graphic adventure. Less reading. It wasn't Rogue Survivor, so yeah, it was pretty dull. Seems like we've had a fair share of opinions on this. However, we've been able to chew through all of our punishment games by now. All except one. Dwarf Fortress is still to come, and I'm still trying to think how we're even going to manage that, but we will find a way. Still, cheers to Golden Deer, who brought this this punishment game our way. Golden Deer has brought a whole bunch of punishment games our way. They've been extremely lucky with rolling them. What all have Golden Deer brought? Well, this one, Hadean Lands, as well as Death Crimson, Fold It, Influent Learn Swedish, and Mystic Bell. That's pretty awesome, given some people have had punishment games on the list for quite a while but not had them run. If you want to throw your punishment game idea into the list, all subscribers to the channel are allowed to. You just have to ping me one way or another and say add this game to the list, and it will be rolled whenever I fail a weekly one-shot or fail to hold by my schedule for them. Still, I think that's it. I've been yawning enough through the night, so it's high time that I just got myself to bed. So cheers for joining for our punishment game. Until our next stream, cheerio.